museum and groups. Well, I got here about, dang, there it was. No, that was the earlier one. Let me get just now, okay. Let me style the video. So this is Friday, morning, January 31st, last day of the month. So we're off about an hour with me having to Uber. So I'm sharing it to the internet and to Memories Live Videos. Okay, well, tell everybody good morning. Okay, and I guess I'm in here by myself today so far. Hope y'all are all ready for a weekend, good weekend. We got on the YouTube account and the Facebook, we got our sponsors up, new ones up yesterday. We still have to do the website, Fort Worth Memories website, fortworthmemories.com, and that'll be done this weekend. But Stroud Auto Parts is one of our new sponsors. Let's just start the sponsors here. There's Clay Winstead, Winstead Paint and Body. They've been with us many, many years, and also big contributors to the bike giveaway. The next one is Scott. He'll build you a website or do consultation, whatever you need done. Lance Sanders has Alpha Design and Build. If you need a room added on or something remodeled or second story on your house or business, Lance Sanders is the folks to call. Fort Worth Florist, there's a new florist that we started yesterday. That's Jeanette. They're out on Camp Bowie, so when you get ready to send flowers and stuff to your gal friends here, hold on just a second. Well, I don't know how to do that. Anyway, when you get ready to send flowers for any occasion, call Fort Worth Florist. They are our official florist. There's G2 Garage if you're in the White Settlement area or close. They've gotten a lot of good, favorable remarks sent to me. There's also a new client special that if you're a new client, you can sign up and get $25 off. Good morning. The ride in was good. Candace is in. Phelps Family Auto Care, they're in the Burleson area. And I tell you what, everybody already knows all about them. They do a great job, and they're going to set up another shop over there in Burleson sometime in the near future. Stroud Auto Supply, they're in the Haltom City area. Danny Stroud and the team over there. So if you need auto parts, don't go to O'Reilly's or one of these national chains. Keep it local. Francis is in. What am I doing here? Casey Crawl is our Medicare, Medicaid agents. They know everything about it. Believe me, they're very knowledgeable. Call them up. And if you can't get to them, they'll come to you. Schwartz and Hanson are our architects. Rex Benson owns Rex's Bar and Grill. It's the old Macaroni Grill off University over here, 1500 block. He also owns the other restaurant in that area, which is Old South Pancake House. Raines Plumbing, family-owned plumbing company. We like to do business with family-owned companies. So if you've got any plumbing issues whatsoever, just call them. They'll take care of you. Y'all need to always remember and tell these folks that you're a member of FWM, Fort Worth Memories. Francis is in. Charlie Guerin's Railhead Barbecue. We eat there quite often on our Saturday luncheons. And this Saturday we're eating at Rogers Roundhouse across the street so I can get there. Charlie is also on my board of directors at Larry's Kids, and he brought in the second most amount of money for the last year's giveaway behind me. I brought in the most money and he brought in the second most money. Tens of thousands of dollars. Okay, Passport Getaways, if you're planning a cruise, a trip, or if you just want to go down to Louisiana, go to the Mardi Gras, any of that stuff, call Passport Getaways, let them do all the legwork. Then all you got to do is give them your debit card and you're off and running. Amy is in, Aaron is in. The Optimist Club of Fort Worth, these folks do a lot of great stuff for our youth. Scholarships, baseball, I mean, they just give. And they're located all over I imagine all over the world, but I know all over the United States. Okay, so now we're at another Rex Benson owned company, which is Old South. The one on University is open 24/7. The one in Burleson, which is fairly new, 2-3 years I think, they close at like 10 or something at night. K Ranch Roofing is our roofing sponsor. Jorge Hernandez is the owner. And when you call, you'll talk to a young lady named Bree. I think her name is Breanne, and she'll set you up an appointment and they'll get somebody out there. Don't go get a ladder and try to crawl up there and see if you got roof damage. Let them come out. They don't charge you to do that. Jenny Stewart is our Allstate, or State Farm. Sorry about that. I had Allstate on my brain. Boyd's in. Jenny Stewart is our State Farm rep. So call and get a quote. If you know, a lot of us don't even think about it. The money comes out of our bank every month, and if you're like me, you don't ever have a claim. So mine is astronomical. But anyway, call and get a quote. You might be able to get a better deal at State Farm. Jenny Stewart. Brandon Cross Electric. If you need an electrician, Brandon is the person to call. They're kind of ready to go at any time, so just give them a holler. Fort Worth Lumber Company has been sponsors on the group for many years. They also contribute to the bike giveaway every year. Express Dent, that's Dick Regester. I started about 40-something years ago, and he started about the same time. Dick now lives in Florida, Sunshine State, and so his partner, Eric, is the operating person, and so if you got door dings, hail dings, or anything like that, they're on White Settlement Road. Go over there and see Eric and tell him Larry sent you. Dickie Carr Sand and Gravel, there's Ginger. That's Richard Carr's father. Dickie Carr was Richard Carr's father. So now Pat and Richard own it, and they are, good morning, they are sponsors on our group, and they also give very generously. In fact, last year they wrote a check to Larry's Kids for $5,000, so we certainly appreciate it too. Let me see, what am I doing here? Okay, now Richard Carr's nephew is Dickie Carr. That's the younger one. Richard's father's been passed now for a few years. Grateful for Your Trees is Dickie Carr's company. Anything to do with trees, cutting them down, trimming them, whatever. And there's a list of stuff he does on the side. Steve Coburn, Coburn's Catering. If you go to the stock show or the exhibits buildings, you're going to be eating a sandwich or ribs from Steve Coburn's Catering. They are ready, willing, and able to cater any of your events or parties. Burt Ladner Real Estate. Wes Williams is associated with that group. Wes is also on the board of Larry's Kids. He and his wife Sarah are just endless at the stuff they help out in the community. Back when the Hurricane Harvey hit down there, I think they gave away about $1 million worth of stuff down there. Good people. We also have another realtor, Eric Walsh. He is also on the board at Larry's Kids, and he raised a lot of money for the bike giveaway. Eric can handle any kind of real estate deals you want to get done, so get a hold of Eric Walsh. And last but not least, Dub Peacock's company, A-Bird AC and Heating. If you got any problems with your heat and air unit or anything like that, just call Dub and he'll get somebody out there and get you fixed up. So anyway, what else is new? We're eating at Rogers Roundhouse. Michael's in. Okay, we've got our Cleveland group. I can't hardly read that screen. I guess it needs to be... Oh, there it is. Michael's in. Okay, Larry. Fort Worth in the Civil War. Okay, what about it? How it affected? Well, it affected Fort Worth about the same as it did all the places in the South and some in the North. The population of Fort Worth when the Civil War started was right around 6,000 people. Immediately, everything was boarded up. The schools were closed because the school teachers went and fought. All the stores were closed. So it's kind of iffy about how they got supplies in. There would be wagon trains that would bring stuff in to the square, and people would kind of fight over it. It was kind of a hectic time. Banks closed. The mail stopped. We got our mail from Weatherford and Waxahachie by horseback. Population dropped to about 1,000 people about the end of the war. What else can I tell you about it? Marquita's in. The Civil War was a lot harder on our little community here. I say little, we're the 12th largest city in the United States. The Civil War was a lot more damaging to our way of life here than was the Depression. The Depression, Amon and the city civic leaders kind of kept everything kind of going. We did have soup lines, but nothing. There was a few banks that failed. The Fraternal National Bank, William Madison McDonald's, African American gentleman, first millionaire in Texas, his bank did not fail. And he loaned money to white banks to help them, and they didn't pay him back. What's the next question? Niles City. The meatpacking companies got Swift, and then there was another one, Armour. They were in the north side. They got here 1909, and early 1900s. Niles City was formed to be a tax abatement. It was formed in 1911. The city of Fort Worth swallowed it up and annexed it in 1922. Riverside was the reason all of these little communities, Lake Worth, Riverside, Northside, North Fort Worth, is the trolley cars were good here. The streets were good. Christina is in. All of your utilities were good here. Streets and water, and they could get to places on the trolley line. So, but Riverside tried to hold out, but they were annexed in 1924. The way you were annexed is if a city had, I believe, 50,000 people or more, they could swallow up another little city. Your next question. You got a lot of questions today. Our form of government. In 1924, the people of Fort Worth voted for a council city manager form of government instead of the mayor or the city council. Greg and Don are in. So it was 9 council members, and those 9 council members elected the mayor, not the people. Until 1965, Willard Barr was the first mayor elected by the people. Last question, okay. 1881. First college here, Texas Wesleyan College, was 1881. 8 years later, it was Fort Worth University, and I have well, you can't see it. I've got a diploma from Fort Worth University in 1892. Fort Worth University left in 1911, and of course TCU came here. Now, Fort Worth University, that initial group is still in business in Oklahoma City. They're associated with an Episcopal church. Do what now? First telegraph, 1874, September 12th. There was a telegram that's up in the air. Who got the first one? Dr. Burtz said he did. Mike is in. But the 2 days later, that was on September 12th, 1875. 2 days later, Mayor Burtz of Fort Worth and Mayor Cabell of Dallas, we don't normally say that word, the city to the east, Yoli is in, they sent each other telegrams. So that would have been on September 14th. First telephone was a little while later. It's up in the air. I actually think the first telephone was at a bar that was also a drugstore, and the second telephone went to the local newspaper that B.B. Paddock had, and so that was his news source, the people in the bar. A fight broke out, B.B., and I guess they printed a one-page newspaper back then. Hell, there was probably 10 of them in Fort Worth at the time, or all these little cities. And they typeset them, and then so everybody was a newspaper man. Explain what? In 1924, the people of Fort Worth voted for a form of government of 9 council members and a city manager and a mayor. The popular vote for mayor did not start until Willard Barr in 1965. I actually interviewed him a couple of times. From 1924 to 1965, the 9 council members then elected a mayor. How do I know what? I'm smart. No, seriously, I've got a photographic memory, so if I've read it or seen it since about age 8, I can recall it. So from 24 to 65, there was the mayor of Fort Worth was elected by the council members. And then there were some rough patches there. We actually, in the 30s and again in the 50s or 40s, we fired all the city council members. Said, y'all ain't doing your job, and had a special election and elected some more. That would have been, she's wanting to know, Niles City was considered the richest city in the United States. It was only a 1 mile area. It was the meat packing plants, Swift and then Armour. A lot of people talk to me and they say, when did Swift and Armour come here? They're two different companies. Last question, Cleburne. That they said what? No, the first college, 1881, Texas Wesleyan University. 8 years later, it became Fort Worth University. And if you come to the museum, I've got one of the, well, you can see it a little bit there, the edge of it. They're big cloth diplomas. There's only 9 that are known, and I own them all. Okay, no more questions from you. The sponsors, again, here we go. So we've added 4 or 5 new sponsors in the last couple of weeks. And so we've upgraded the YouTube channel yesterday. Scott did that. He'll update the FortWorthMemories.com website this weekend. But when I'm down here and I do my live, I post their business cards. So, and I always ask that you use our sponsors because they help to keep this thing going as well as y'all do. Y'all do too. I got a deal from Facebook the other day. We're the largest group that deals with the city in 23 states, and we're the best kept policed because we don't allow no monkey business on here. Okay. We're a worldwide group. Yes, we're in 140 countries now. There's your, be sure and bring our pets, our 4-legged friends inside. They don't like it out in the cold, and neither do you. So, okay, Clay Winstead Paint and Body. There's James Van Zant. Clay has been, I've done business with the Winsteads forever. That's where my truck is right now. Scott is our IT guru. He can help you build a website. He can do consultation, and he works cheap. We were lucky to have I stole him away from a company 10 years ago. Alpha Design and Build, that's Lance Sanders. He'll remodel your room or your house or your business or put a second story on it. We just added a florist yesterday, Fort Worth Florist. Jeanette and her team out there, hold on. Are ready, willing, and able to take care of you. They're out about the 8200 block of Camp Bowie. They're way on out there. There is G2 Garage. They're in White Settlement. They've got a new client special. I've had some good reviews on these folks too. So if you're in the White Settlement area, get a hold of them. That's a family-owned business. Feltz Family-Owned Auto Care. I told y'all the other day, Mike's father has had some medical issues, so we need to keep everybody in our prayers, but especially Mike. They're in the Burleson area, and I guarantee you, when I first started posting about them, people just rave about how good they are. So we really try to screen our sponsors. We just don't take anybody's money. Some of these strip bars have tried to, and we don't do that. We're a family-oriented type of business. We're real loyal to our sponsors. And be sure when you use our sponsors, if you go out there to Mike at Feltz, tell them, say, hey, I'm a FWM member. They won't probably give you a discount, but they ain't going to charge you no extra either. Stroud Auto Supply. I did business with this Danny's father back 60 years ago and didn't know it. I had an old Hot Rod 55 Chevy that I let a guy on Belknap work on it, and his name was California Tom, or Tom's Customs. And I was broke. I'm broke now, but I was broke then, and I said, I don't have a lot of money to pay you, but what if I buy the parts and come up here and I've got my own tools and you kind of tell me what to do? And he said, okay. So back then we had Kragen's, Kissinger, a lot of auto parts. And he said, no, you got to go to Stroud Auto Supply, and that's the only people you're going to use, and they're still in business. In fact, Danny is coming over here tomorrow. Come on, what's the matter with there, I didn't move it. Casey Crawl, they are our Medicare and Medicaid sponsors. They know all of they're very knowledgeable, so all you got to do is call them. If you can't go to them, they'll come to you. Swartz and Hanson. Jerry Swartz and his partner have been sponsors on the group forever, and they've given generously to my bike giveaway every year. There's Rex's Bar and Grill. That's Rex Benson. That was the old Macaroni Grill on University. He owns that, and he owns the Old South next to it. But Rex's is open. They're ready for you to go over and enjoy a ball game or whatever. I'm going to have our birthday party there this year, and we're going to have our boxing in Cowtown program there this year. On that boxing program, we'll bring back 4 or 5 world champions. Gorman's Gym over on Hemp Hill, we put out more world champions than any other gym in the United States where they were full-time out of that gym. You know, there's a lot of gyms that have, the Kronk Gym in Detroit, they put out a lot of champions, but they might only train there a week or two. Is Clay Winstead paint body auto? I'm not answering. Is Clay paint and body or auto repair? Clay is paint and body. Auto repair is Phelps Family Auto Care and G2 Garage. No, I just had him pick the truck up yesterday because the motor blew up or something. And I was at the Fast Gas on Roberts Cutoff and 199, so he was just right down the street. I had him tow it to his place, which I might fix that motor. I thought it'd be $10,000 to do a diesel, but somebody told me it's not that much. It's maybe $5,000 to rebuild it or whatever. You know what was strange? That's a 2013, and so I Googled it last night. How long is those motors supposed to last? Because I changed the oil, regular, all that. 200,000. That truck's got 189,000 on it, so I guess it ran its limit. Plumbing. You need a plumber. You call Rains Plumbing. That's another family-owned group. All of these businesses are family-owned. We buy local and spend local. We're better together than we are apart, believe me. Charlie Guerin, Railhead Barbecue. Charlie is on my board at Larry's Kids. He's also our state rep. He's been a sponsor on our group for years, and we eat there quite often. Passport Getaways. If you want to go to Egypt or the Eiffel Tower or take a cruise and go to Cozumel, let them do the legwork. You give them the credit card number or debit, and then all you got to do is get on the boat. The Optimist Club of Fort Worth, they've been with me forever. They donate a Christmas tree for our enjoyment every year. We work hand in hand with the Optimist Club of Fort Worth. They do a lot of great stuff for youth. Okay, let's go on. There's Old South, Rex Benson's other business. Now there's the one on University's been there. His daddy bought it in 62. It was opened in 58. That one's open 24/7 now. They got one in Burleson that's fairly new, a couple of years. It closes though at night. But both of the Benson family, I've been closely associated with them for all of my adult life. Come on. K Ranch Roofing is our roofing sponsor. Jorge Hernandez is the owner, and if you think you got roof damage, call. Bree will answer the phone, Brianne, and she'll set you up an appointment. They'll come out and look at it for free. You might not have any damage. I don't know who that is. Okay. Cross Electric. Brandon Cross is our electrical sponsor. And so don't ever mess with that electricity. If you got a problem, call him. Let him get a crew out there and figure out what they need to do. Fort Worth Lumber, Emily and them have been sponsors of mine. They're on the South 35 forever. They give generously at the bike giveaway every year. So if you need building plans, materials, anything, that's another family-owned business. It's not Home Depot or Lowe's. Express Dent, Dick Regester started this company about the time I started my detail business 40-something years ago. Dick now lives in Florida, the Sunshine State. I've been saying that. I hope it is. Eric is his operating partner, and so if you got hail dings, door dings, anything like that, take it by. They're on White Settlement Road, and they can fix you. Dickie Carr Sand and Gravel, that's Richard Carr's father. It's now owned by Pat and Richard Carr. They're very community oriented. In fact, we incorporated the bike giveaway last year. Richard and Pat wrote us a check for $5,000, the first $5,000 donation we got, and we had many of them. So they do great work. Janet is in, but they're very active in church and anything civic. They're just good people, which I hope we all are. Okay, now here is Dickie Carr's. This is Richard's nephew. His company is Grateful for Your Trees. They do anything to do with trees. They knock them down, trim them, do whatever, make you firewood, grind a tree stump down. And that young man is very energetic. I've interviewed him a couple of times, and he needs the work. And I know we've got some pretty weather here for the next few days, so let's give him a call and get him something done. Steve Coburn's Catering. When I was a kid, my uncle owned a plant off of North Main. I was probably 13 or 14. I'd already been run off the house, I was living on the streets. And I used to sleep at my uncle's. I worked the second shift and slept the third shift. And right across the street, North Main, was Coburn's Cafeteria, so I'd go over there and eat. But I've known Otha Coburn and Steve's daddy, the brothers. Gary has been gone a number of years. Anyway, so if you need something catered, a party or event, whatever, they do a great job. And in fact, if you're going to the stock show or the exhibits building, if you're eating barbecue, you're eating Coburn's barbecue. Bert Ladner, Real Estate. Wes Williams, our friend, he and Sarah are very community minded. They had a giveaway down there at Harvey, down at the coast. I think they gave away several $1 million worth of supplies. So Wes is also on the board of directors at my bike giveaway, Larry's Kids. We have another realtor, Eric Walsh, and he is also on my board, and he does anything real estate. Okay, A-Bird, AC, and heating. If you got heat and air problems, don't go try to buy Freon and put in there. Call Dub Peacock and let him send a person out there to look at it. Thank you. How do you become a sponsor? Very easily. Just call me. We luckily got a florist yesterday. Fort Worth florist. We need a dentist. This is what members are asking me for. We need a painting contractor. If you know somebody that does paint at houses, commercial, whatever, So we need dental, paint contractor. I'll make a post of it. I can't remember all of that. What did what? This is our South Texas group. We don't do sponsors down there, Susan, because I'm not down there. I did have a museum down there. When we were on the backside of Houston, I did have a museum. It was a small museum. But no, a lot of good people down there, a lot of history people down there. So I've never combined Scott tells me we can't combine these two. But like right now, we've got 10 people on the Metroplex and 88 on the South Texas deal. I don't know why I even call it South Texas. Wendy is in. Janet is in. Who is the group that asked me questions? That's a group out of Cleburne. They give a lot of bikes and money at our giveaway. They have come to the museum a few times, but there's about 40 of them, and they compile these questions. The way it started, I think it was Brittany's idea, or I don't know whose idea it was. People call me and ask me questions on the live, and I answer them. And so one day, either myself or Brittany came up with that Cleburne group. Hey, we'll answer your questions. Can you get us a bike or 2 bikes? And I mean, these folks give us 40 or 50 bikes every year and toys. So during the, Brittany, I think it was your idea. So during the regular time, before we start hustling bikes and toys again, they just ask questions and we more than happily answer. Vicky is in. But there's a lot of history-minded folks there. They have stumped me before. People say, have you ever been stumped? I have been. Not very often, but I have been. So when I was right around 8 and 3 months, I've noticed that everything I looked at, somebody had asked me something about it, another kid, 3 weeks later, and I could tell them exactly to the minute. And I thought, wow, this is kind of neat. But it's not kind of neat. Sometimes it's scary. But there's times. So if I've never seen it or read it, then I might not know it. But if it has to do with Fort Worth or Tarrant County, pretty much Texas or the U.S. No, not Texas or the U.S., but local history, I can pretty much. I speak at all the museums. I speak at Fort Worth Club. I speak everywhere. Am I going to start Gangsters in Cowtown again? I do some of that. My aunt was Ada Bilbrey. She was the first female serial killer in Texas. She killed, 1948, she killed her daughter in February, Dorothea, and her husband and son-in-law in November of 48. All strychnine poison. In 50, they dropped the charges. This lady kills 6 people and never goes to trial. In 50, she shoots and kills husband 2, Mr. Glenn, and then 2 Rock Island Railroad employees were shot at the Roundhouse Cafe. They never even charged her. On my dad's side, from my great grandfather brought the Maceo crime family here in 22. My dad, Binions, and me, before I changed my life, the Savellas in Kansas City, the Kansas City outfit. That's right. I do need a flooring sponsor. Wood flooring, or really if somebody does rock work too. We have occasion of that. But I always recommend to our members to use our sponsors. Hey, we're just one big family. We're the 3rd largest city in Tarrant County. And a guy questioned me the other day. He said, y'all aren't a city. I said, no, but we got 130,940 something as of this morning active members. So, and that is spread out. We're in 140 countries. But yesterday's total, what went on the group in 24 hours, 64,000 people. You don't get that advertisement in a newspaper or television or anything. Our roofing sponsor said he did 80 roofs. It wasn't last year, it was another year. 80 roofs in 1 year off members. That's a lot of roofs. So if you need a mechanic, if you need a florist, if you need any of this stuff, that's who we like to keep it in-house. Let's use our own. And our sponsors are always welcome to be part of the giveaway. That's really something special. If you've never done it, there's a lot of y'all that have. I've been doing it now. This is the 39th year. I've given away right at $1 million worth of bicycles in 38 years. 19,550 to be exact. And if you average them at $50 a bike, which now last year was way too cheap, but in 1986 it might have been on the money or a little bit too high, it comes up to $978,000. This year we'll go over $1 million. Tire shop, yes. That's the one that I keep forgetting about. So if any of y'all know a tire shop, we need a tire shop. And we really need one of these guys that like road service, like if you have a flat, you need to jump, all of that stuff. Man, we had one of those guys during the COVID year, and I mean, he told me he retired. He had worked for, he either worked for Sam at Fort Worth Tire or he worked for somebody, and he did it with us for 2 years and retired, moved to the coast and went fishing. He said, I get calls from your members all the time. David is in. So, yeah, if you know somebody that I haven't named off their business, tell them. It's $1,500 a year. That's $125 a month. You can't, $30 a week. How are you going to do that? Old South in Burleson is not open 24. It's open probably 9 or 10 o'clock. Larry is in. A mobile mechanic. I don't think, do they still have mobile mechanics? I'll need to talk with Mike Feltz or the guy at G2. I don't think they don't have the equipment to go mobile. I mean, what I was talking about is road service. That's what you call it, road service. You've got a flat tire, you don't want to change it. You get locked out of your car, you run out of gas. This guy used to do it for us, and it was called, I think it was $25 call was the name of it or something. He charged you $25. Of course, if he brought you 5 gallons worth of gas, you had to pay for that. But he'd come out to wherever you were at. If you were in Tarrant County, for $25. Now, after 5 or 6 in the evening, I think he charged $35. But he'd get into your car or whatever, give you a jump, fix a tire. But I don't think they do really. I don't see how a mechanic could put all that equipment in. Hell, it'd take a truck the size of a big truck. Lynn and Earl are in. They're down in the hill country. Have y'all got some clean weather coming up next few days, Lynn? Lynn and her husband, they give all the time to our giveaways to the museum. Great people. 2 of my favorite people. In fact, the first time I ever met Earl Freeman, I can tell you exactly when it was. It was 2016. I was on the way. I was closing my shop in the museum, and he said, "Well, where are you going?" And he said, and I told him, I said, "I'm going to see the next president of the United States at the American Airlines Center." Rick Perry is a family friend of ours, and I went over there with a guy named Steve, but Rick Perry was there, and we got to walk downstairs to where the president was at the American Airlines Center. Good weather. That's what we need. We're eating at Rogers Roundhouse tomorrow, so I can just walk over there. We don't have a telephone company. Any of those people, I don't know the people to call that have the businesses. But I'll run through their cards while we're talking here. I don't have anything yet going. How come it's not? Oh, there it is. It's delayed. From the time I press it, it's delayed like 2 seconds. I don't think there's any football this weekend. There's Fort Worth Lumber, Cross Electric, Jenny Stewart, K-Ranch Roofing, Old South. Boy, they got some good breakfast over there. Optimist Club, Passport, Railhead. Boy, that Railhead right now is packed with the stock show people in town. Oh, you know what? I bet you Rogers is going to be tomorrow too, but that's the only choice I have. So if you decide you don't want to come, I understand. Rex's Bar and Grill is the old macaroni grill. Man, he remodeled that thing for half a year. Jerry Schwartz and Hanson, Casey Crawl. I've had a lot of good reviews. Y'all also need to send me reviews when you go use one of our people, one of our sponsors. Stroud Auto Supply, Phelps Family Auto Care, G2 Garage. Phelps is Burleson, G2 White Settlement, Fort Worth Florist. I don't know how to answer that. Number one, I don't try to talk politics on here, is the question was, do I like what's being changed? I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable enough to know everything. One thing that I'm glad of is that we have some kind of closure down at this border. I understand that there's been several thousand people that are charged with crimes that have been rounded up. I think I think it always needs to be secured. The stuff about you're asking about federal employees, I had no idea that 70% of the federal employees since COVID gets to work at home for full pay. I'm not for that, because I think there's too dang many of them anyway. So I don't know, both parties and independents. I'm actually an independent. This notion that if you're a Republican or Democrat, you don't count, that's BS. Everybody's got good ideas. I often tell people during the Clinton years, I made more money than I ever made in my life. And they actually balanced the budget, put a 10-year ban on assault rifles, did a lot of good stuff. I've interviewed Newt Gingrich 2 times, and that was a Democratic president, Republican House, and Democratic Senate. They got more done than any president since I've been alive. So we'll just see what happens, but it's kind of like this Dallas Cowboy coach. We posted the first day, and he's going to be terrible. Jerry's running the team. For you people that think that Jerry's up there on the phone saying, hey, pass this next time, y'all are nuts. Jerry doesn't run the team. The coach does. So let's give this guy a chance. But you can be detrimental to him all the time. But let's talk about the Rangers. We got a new season coming up. I understand from our baseball fans that we got a big hitter, and this coach that we've got, his track record was he wins a World Series, then he doesn't do too good, then he comes back and wins it again. So we won it 2 years ago. Last year we didn't do that good. Maybe this year we'll do it. Anything else? David is in. Yeah, but I won't be here. I'll be here. I'll leave about 1:30 or 2. We do not have a painter. I need a paint contractor. Please, if anybody knows one, have them call me. We can get them up and running over the phone, and because we get calls all the time. Like a florist, back when I announced that Roger's wife Patty died, Patty Williams, when I made the post, we had over 1,000 people gave prayer requests. A bunch of those sent flowers. Out of the 64,000 people that were on our group yesterday, I would say 70% of them have a car. And I bet half of them ain't new cars. So you just do the numbers and you can't beat memories. We police our group. We don't allow cussing or anything like that. Had a lady called me and said her brother had gotten kicked off. That's one problem. When I kick you off, for some reason, Scott can't reinstate you. When he kicks you off, he does something that allows him. But if you're on there acting a fool, you're going to be gone. Because we've got people in their 80s and 90s. We've got teenagers. So we just don't do that. If you have to talk terrible or act a fool, do it somewhere else. Because if you do it here and people say, how do you get it so quickly? I got 130,000 pairs of eyes that are all police officers. Larry, all you got to do is report it. You just click it on the picture or whatever and report it, and either myself or Scott takes it down. Okay, I can feel the wind getting up out there. It's going on 9, so I'm going to see y'all at Rogers Roundhouse tomorrow. They got great burgers, food, stuff like that. Be sure and use our sponsors. Tell them you're a member. I'm going to start I started it a few years ago, and we never carried on with it because it's too much work for me. We had a Fort Worth Memories. It wasn't a discount card, but it was Fort Worth Memories members card. And then if you, David says, hey, can I get one of those? Then we put your name on it, and then we send it to you and a photo of it. And so that way, when you go in to get your car worked on or a restaurant or whatever, you can say, hey, I'm a member of Fort Worth Memories. I don't know if it'll get you anything, but it might. But we can track where our members go if they like Joe T's, or if they like Uncle Julio's, or if they like Enchiladas Olay, whoever they like. And I'm going to start today's best of, and we're going to do barbecue, we're going to do Mexican food, whatever else y'all want to do, fish. I don't ever eat fish, so I don't know. Home cooking. Okay, all of y'all are in. We got over 100 on the South Texas. Love all of you.